Hi, this is Carolyn. I'm CC Mom, and my daughter is starting Challenge A for the first time this year. So we are orienting ourselves to the math map. So I've taken the math map booklets and I cut them apart and I put the first half in one binder and the second half in the other binder. So this is going to be her first semester binder. In this pocket, I've got the week 29 booklet so she can write down whatever she wants to in the Seeing the Unseen booklet. And then I made this, I'm going to be sharing this on the Facebook Challenge A community page. It's just a really simple user guide, one sheet that says on day 1 you need to do workbook pages 1 to 4 and use these charts. Chart 1 for page 1, chart 2 for page 2, chart 3 for page 3, and chart 4 for page 4. And obviously that's just a guideline, not a hard and fast rule. So we're in community, so my daughter's going to be bringing this week's packet plus last week's packet, and then her logic strand should cover the art page, the essay, and the I pages. But some parents are doing it at home outside of a challenge community, so the parent is going to be in charge of covering the art, the essay, and the I pages. And then there's a workbook page that's called I4, and that is the answers for it are in the Math Map Companion online. Okay, so this is just her workbook, and then this tab can mark which week she's on. And so everything's in here, including the answer key. So I separated the booklets out so that the answer key is in here with each lesson, but the charts are going to be in their own binder that she can reference, because some weeks reference other weeks' charts. So you need to have access to all the charts. So the guide itself recommends taking the charts out and putting them in their own binder, but the answer key should be with each lesson. But when I was organizing this, the first thing I noticed is there's no parent guide. So I went ahead and designed my own. Okay, so this is the parent guide that I designed. I took the back cover of the guide and I scanned it and I deleted this part and put this part on here so that I would know. Then I don't have to have this index page on each week. If you look at the booklets, this index page is on every single week of each lesson. So as a parent guide, you don't need that. You just need it one time. You can see what week are we on and what's the topic of the week, and that's all you need. You're oriented, okay? So you don't need to have that. So that's why I wanted this as the cover, so you can just reference it right there in the front. I have the same user guide here in the front, but then on the back I printed this. Another mom wrote out all the supplies needed for the games and stuff, because there are games on the back of each booklet. There's a game and instructions, and so they have all the things that you're going to need to have on hand for the next week. So you're going to need, dice, sheet protectors, dry erase markers, and so forth. Then I made my own copies of the art. I scanned this. Actually, I might have taken this file from the Naturals one online because it's got this red border on it. But anyway, I wanted this to be ink saving because the online, all the levels have their own copies of this art, but they all have this gigantic border across them that tell you what level you're in, and that is a huge ink waster. So for my version, I wanted to scan it and take that part out, so I maximized the art size, and then I just added my own page number for the week number. So each week is going to look similarly without the ink killing stripe. I also put the essay on the back. Okay, so I'll have my own copy to lead discussion at home if we need to. Then I scanned all the info pages, the I2s and the I3s, and then I scaled them down so that they'd have this white border around it, and that way I have room to take my own notes. So that's front to back. Then obviously I have the lesson pages, and then at the end of the lesson page I have the charts, my own copy of the charts in here, and then the game page. So this is the actual game page from her workbook that I put into my binder because she doesn't need this. If I decide to do a game, I'll be leading it, so that's why I have the game But week 1 is an anomaly because it's supposed to be like the user guide or whatever, so I put the entire lesson in here. The other pages do not have the lesson. This covers all 30 weeks. This covers all 30 weeks as a parent. So I just have the art, the essay, the I2 and the I3 pages, which cover the main concepts for the week that I can take my own notes on. The charts, there's 4 charts, so I printed them back to back. And then the game. So that's all I have for each week as a parent guide. Then at the top here, I marked the dimensions. So of 1D, 2D, 3D, and so forth. And then I marked week 29 so that I can take my own notes for seeing the unseen. I just put in 1 page for front and back stuff, so I'm like, I don't really care. And then the glossary, I put the glossary in the back for all the terms. It's like a 20-page, really, really small print glossary, so I put that in the back. So in all, this is going to be my offline parent guide. Hopefully this will be enough to orient myself as to what she's supposed to be learning every week. I noticed that in the week 1, if you look on page 13, it does tell you strategies for practice. This is like the only part in the whole book that tells you how to use the material. It says each day do 4 lesson pages, and then here's like you can do 1, 5, 9, and 13 as an alternate schedule for day 1 because that's going to be 1 concept a day instead of 4 concepts a day. Okay, so that is what I put on my sheet here in the front. The alternate schedule. Day 2 could look like 1, 5, 9, and 13, and day 3 could look at 2, 6, 10, and 10 and 14, and then you're only using maybe 1 chart for all 4 of those pages instead of 4 charts for 4 pages. So that makes it a little bit less complicated. And then in here it says every day you're supposed to do flashcards. You're supposed to start with what you know and then do the 4 work pages a day. And it says if you're still confused, tackle them as you learn more. So that means don't worry about it if you don't understand what you're doing, because it should all make sense. Because this is supposed to be classical, so it's going to repeat. So hopefully students will learn more the more times they are exposed to this particular concept of. I just thought that as far as an orientation guide, knowing what each week covers, I need to have my own copies of the charts. I need to have my own copies of the art, and I need to have my own copies of the essay so that I can have my own thoughts about how this art ties in with this concept of this lesson. And I need to have my own iPages with space to take notes in. So that's how this idea for this came about. So hopefully I'll be able to use it a lot throughout the year as I orient myself to this new way of doing math. So hopefully this gave you inspiration to make your own parent guide.